I didn't realize that. I was just a kid doing stuff. And he says they found out that Hitler was getting ready to have, our Chancellor, Schuschnigg, was getting ready to have a vote whether or not they want to be annexed to Germany. And Hitler said, no, it's not going to work. They won't vote us in. Right. And and we lived in a little village on the border in Austria and Czechoslovakia. And in March in '38, they walked across it. They took over. They had it all planned because the Nazis were all over already. They killed our chancellor. They killed Dollfuss, and then so it was planned, Were
the people there then still mostly supporting the Americans and the Allies during that, being anti-Hitler?
Oh, from the word go. From the word go. That's no ifs, ands, and buts. Do you know what he did? We lived in that little village, and there were cobblestones, okay? And then when he was after Jews like that, well, of course, I didn't understand, but it was a big hello. Do you know he made this? There was an old couple, they had a little country store, just like we have here, okay? People love it. The little country store, bakery, that was it, okay? They made that old couple go out there because there were anti-Nazi stuff smeared on the cobblestone, written. Anti-Nazi, okay? They made this old couple go out there and scrub it off. And eventually they were gone. Well, we didn't know. You know what happened?
Yep.
But they made them scrub that stuff off the cobblestone. But anyway, you wanted me to get back to...
Yeah, we can get back to Beth.
I think you were saying when I left about how you met your husband.
Oh, yes. Well, see, don't forget, as the war progressed, then the Russians were fighting right in the streets and stuff, okay? And little by little, the people started to flee the city, And there was myself and the chambermaid from upstairs and Annie. She worked in the dining room then, okay? And we were the only three left there. But Hitler took the Ukrainian girls. Didn't even let them go home to say goodbye to their families. He just took them and grabbed them and put them on a train, and they ended up in Vienna, okay? And they were working in a hotel kitchen, washing dishes and stuff. I mean, we had huge parts in there. And of course, there was no communication. We didn't know it at first. And as time went by, we got the language kicks in, okay, a little bit. And we got to be real good friends. We felt so sorry for the girls. But the three of us, we were pretty well our own as well. And one day, they said, listen, you girls, you get out of here fast. Because Ukraine speaks Russian, just like Russia does. See, the same thing. Several countries, they can interchange the language.
Right.
And they listen to this Russian soldiers. It says, they're going to really have going tonight here in this place. You get out. So the only place we could go is that chambermaid. She must have had some sort of a thing to clean an apartment. It was a beautiful place downtown Vienna. She had the key for it, okay? So that was our salvation. So we could, because the people had gone away from the city for the time being. So she says, we're going to try to run over there. And it was towards evening, okay? And boy, we went out there, and one of the Russian soldiers, he was drunk as can be, which was our good thing, and he grabbed the chambermaid. She had a satchel and pulled her down. So we went over there and we were together and we helped her, okay? And the only reason we were successful because he was too drunk. He couldn't stand barely on his feet, okay? And the one porter there, he spoke English, and his wife was one of the cooks in the kitchen and stuff. We were 22 of us in the at the kitchen at the time, I was just a kitchen help at first, and then. So he told us one day, he says, if you girls could go down in there, there is stuff in that basement, could cook a little bit, fix something, okay? But I don't want to get off the thing, but that's how it come. Then they finally threw the Russians out of whatever happened. I didn't realize Vienna must have been like Berlin in sections, because I was obviously in the American section. Okay. When they finally... Because the Russians were still there. After I known Johnny and we got out, they would take the jeep from American soldiers and it was horrible. So one day, he said to me, he says, we call him Manchi, his name was Manchibal. He was a sweet guy. He worked in England before the war, so he spoke English real good. It was was the in between, you know. And he says, "You go ahead and get some of that stuff out." And one day the Russians were gone. They stripped even the walls in that hotel. They took everything that was nailed out. They stripped tapestry and everything off the wall, you know. So we were there, no hot water, no nothing. But there was an awful mess in the place, and the three of us were just trying to. At that time I lived across the street, and by golly, one day we come down there to work. We were alone, just trying to. Manji says, "See what you can do. Start cleaning up. Sooner or later, the people will come back," and they did. They trickled in, but not then. We were still alone. And one day we're down there, and we were very cautious after what we had endured with the Russians. Sat this American soldier straddled the chair, and his hand on the back of the chair, and he watched us. Not a word was said, nothing. And as three girls, we were very cautious. We kept our distance, okay? Mm-hmm. And he was ever so sweet. There was no words. We couldn't. Nobody could say anything. He didn't speak a word of it. He never spoke, even after 32 years of marriage. He said, you're doing so well, I don't have to. So anyway, you know, so one of the girls said to me, she says, you know, she says, I think we'll give him some of that soup. Oh my God, I forgot. I got away from the planes flying overhead.
Keep going with where you're at.
So she says, we had some flour and stuff. You know, that hotel had 2 basements. You know, when we were in the air raids, we went down to the very lowest, obviously. And so we got some of the flour stuff. And you know, your girl cooking, take a little flour in a pot and brown it a little bit, okay? And pour water over it and a little salt and let it come to a boil and you have soup. Believe me. Well, you want to live, okay? So the chambermaid, I can't remember her name, she says, I wonder if he looks like he has nothing there, if he'd like a bowl of this. I says, not me, I'm not giving it to him. and Annie says, no, not me either. No, she says, I'm not going to give him this, that's terrible. Well, the chambermaid, she says, I'll give it to him. You know, he never got over that. After we were married, he kept talking about that. But he was such a sweetheart. Next thing you know, she gives him the soup, of course, forget it, you know. And there was all this pointing because there was no language, you know. And we figured he wanted us to sit, you know. And he had the hotel to himself because I found out from the papers he was the one who had to manage the thing. I'll show you papers afterward. The next thing he comes downstairs and he had the little K rations, I guess what they called it for the soldiers, okay? I suppose he had this because he had to wait till the rest of the gang appeared or some. And he set that out on the table. There were crackers and little jelly and little cheese and stuff, okay? And he laid it all out. It was so sweet. And you talk about, how should I say, when someone cares, how that kills the fear.
Oh, yeah.
And we sat down and we had the crackers and stuff and what he put out there, okay? And he gave us something to drink, which I had never tasted, I told Kelly. And it tasted good, we liked it. I never had it before. Well, when the war, we couldn't get anything anyway. It was pineapple juice. I found that out when I come to the States. I said, that wasn't that. That's it, you know. I still have over there on his thing that I made. It took me 20 years to get all these medals and stuff. That little can opener that he had, that he opened up the can. I have it still with his dog tags and everything, you know.